Oh, here's a perfect example. She was talking about her being in an open relationship with you, and you let her go sleep with other men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was quite fascinating, because that is a very very rare form of polygamy that doesn't happen so much. It's when a woman is allowed to be with multiple men or marry multiple men, or one woman is married to two brothers. This stuff is like so polar opposite. Like, doesn't exist, just as small as polygamy doesn't exist, very very smallly, or very small. Now, when you look at a woman who's willing to take direction from multiple men and open her legs to multiple men
Well,
and
hold on.
fall in love.
Wait. Those two things were two different things. Well, you just named three different things. Take direction from a man. Just because you're, first of all, just because you're in a relationship with your man doesn't mean you're taking a direction from him. Just because you're opening your legs for a man doesn't mean you're taking a direction from him. And then when you said you were about to say fall in love with men, just because you somebody doesn't necessarily mean you fall in love with them either. So all three of these things are three different things. We can talk about any one you want, but
how many baby daddies does Melina have?
stop.
None. Okay.
Okay.
Well, she could have used contraception. We don't know. I chose to give life to her. So
Well, Lauren, no, come on. Let's don't get involved.
Yeah, that's mean.
Come on.
It's clear you don't have children, because you would never talk like that to a woman who has a child.
Yeah, because I guarantee
Stop.
Guarantee you won't last a month
Turn your
on
mic
breastfeeding.
off.
You would give your baby formula and a pacifier. So let's not even go there, because I can cut you down really quickly, sweetheart.
Okay, if I was going to fight back on that, I don't believe that a mom that's actually breastfed would use that insult against another one, because a lot of women have trouble breastfeeding after they've had children.
That's
There's a lot of
not true.
stress.
also, does having huge
Hold on,
fake
wait.
tits help with breastfeeding?
Your mic is... You're on a
Breastfeeding
5-minute
for a
break.
day. I breastfed my son till he was almost 7. So come on, you guys.
Why the f are we getting into breastfeeding? Who cares about breast? Let's get back to the initial discussion.
Of these countries where they have polygamy and polyamory, that's where this comes from. We should know about breastfeeding in the indigenous countries, and how good it is for the prefrontal cortex, and how it emotionally connects your child in a way that you can't ever pay for. So
True.
yeah, Lauren, with the mothering skills, you need to definitely take some Oz classes.
I agree.
And
Okay, I'm sorry. Go back to where we were before. Okay, Lauren was out of pocket.
Get my son out of it, and lay off the birth control, because it's bad for you. When you do want to have
I can tell it's emotionally affected her. Go ahead.
It has.
Okay.
Okay,
Where
I know.
were we at?
So
We were trying to get to one question or one point of discrimination.
Leave my son out of it. It's really low blow.
Okay.
But anyways, so back to what we were on, Destiny, because your girl got me off again, or your second girl. No wonder why he didn't marry me.
My girls got other girls off all the time. I know what you mean. Go ahead.
I'm a trans man, actually.
Stop.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I could see that. I could see that. You just had surgery. But yeah, so number 2 always is a little bitter. I get it. I know what it's like not to be number 1, so I got you. Destiny, get me back on track, please.
Okay, we're trying to find is a... You deserve those insults because you're being mean to her first, okay? I'm sorry. Okay.
This is not a lifestyle that can be mass-produced, that can be good for furthering our society as a whole, meaning a man and a woman and children and families and generations, etc. Would you want... Another great question is, would you want this lifestyle for your son? Would you want him to engage in that? Or would you teach him that? I'm curious.
When I teach him, I don't know if I'm going to be showing my son the ropes on fucking multiple women. That sounds really awkward. But if he wanted to do this lifestyle, I mean, as long as he's responsible, uses birth control, is careful about STDs, yeah, I mean, he's free to pursue, I guess, what makes him happy, as long as it comports with what he wants in life.
Guess you don't want to be the coolest dad ever.
Sure.
And I don't mean like teaching in regards to like showing him exactly, but like, yeah, this is my lifestyle. And this, you know, I think my point in all this is saying like this type of, I don't like saying lifestyle because it sounds so ancient, but like this type of dynamic, I don't feel like it should be propaganda as something that works, because it truly doesn't. Like,
I mean, like relationships on average don't work. You understand that. Monogamous relationships don't work, right?
How we're doing them, they don't work.
No. Like the majority of relationships don't work. That's the like until you get married, your relationship is technically a failure, right? Like if you date somebody and break up, that relationship didn't work. Most relationships don't work. Even if we ignore the 50% of marriages and divorce, like most relationships don't end in marriage. So, but I mean, like that's part of life is you meet people. Sometimes you have friends, sometimes you lose friends, sometimes you date people, sometimes you break up with people. You might be poly for a while and decide you don't like it. You might be monogamous for a while, decide you don't like it. Like there are all sorts of different ways that we can explore relationships. The only negative thing you could do is try to hardcore prescribe one lifestyle to every single person and expect that everybody's going to vibe with it, because they might not. It's better to teach people like these are the things that can make you happy, learn how to explore them in a responsible way, learn how to keep your own happiness and fulfillment in mind, and then allow people to explore and see what works for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a very safe, like let's put a blanket on it type of like free love, and like in the 70s, like everyone was like, oh, let's do this.
Hold on,
this.
wait, hold on. Okay, you keep referring to my lifestyle in the most like ridiculous way possible, like free love blanket. Your prescriptions have failed and they're never coming back. I don't know if you realize that or not. We're never going back to traditional conservative relationships. So whatever you preach and whatever you sell people is a lie, right? So whatever you're preaching, whatever you're preaching is completely off the table. Every single industrialized country in the world has moved towards women having access to birth control and women being active in job markets. We're never going back to the other thing. So once you and everybody that preaches relationship dies out, it's gone forever. Just to be clear. Go ahead.
I don't know about that, because if that were to happen, then that would mean the functioning society that we know, where we have lineage dynamic, we have children. You have a child, but what if you hadn't had a child? Would you want to leave a life?
I understand what you're saying, but the people that will lead the next generation of figuring out how relationships look like will be people like me. People like you will be ignored, and then eventually you'll die out and you won't be there anymore. What we need right now to help people is not people saying, well, this is how relationships worked 100 years ago. Because guess what? In all of human history, we've never gone back. We've never regressed 100 years in relationship styles. So what's going to work for the future is people saying, hey, we live in a new world today. We need to adapt. How do relationships look when women have access to birth control and job markets? Because that's the future market that you need to prepare yourself for. If you're going to high school in the year 2010 and the school is telling you, hey, it's time to practice to become a coal miner because we might go back to that. No, that's not going to happen. When you go to school, they tell you, we're training you today for jobs that don't even exist yet. And I don't know why our approach to relationships would be any different. We're a more secular society than we've ever been. We're a more egalitarian society than we've ever been. We need to prepare people for that world and stop pretending like we're going to regress 100 years and go back to that.
I do agree with you that the rule book that we're using right now is greatly flawed. I'm not saying to go back to how things were hundreds of years ago. I'm referring to metaphysical principles that do not change. Positive and negative, masculine and feminine, the polarity attraction of a battery, of two magnets, that stuff doesn't go. And when you use that as a basis for understanding masculine and feminine dynamics in relationships, you can play with relationships in a way that is making our future better. It's not regressing. I believe you. The future is forward, not back.
How can you say that these won't change when women literally work jobs and have birth control? Those are two huge changes to structures of relationships.
But that is a dynamic that's being pushed by a society that wants more women working slave horses, workhorses, because women are more emotional. Hello, we spend irrationally. We're in the most credit card debt.
You spend irrationally. Men spend irrationally. What do you mean? Look, men don't see Kanye West wear a pair of scuba shoes and go and spend $250 on them. What do you mean? Men spend irrationally as well. But again, so is your prescription saying is the only way?
Show debt data.
Is your world going to go into an area where women stop working? Is that your solution? Because that's never going to happen.
Stop work. I'm saying that they're not foregoing being a mom, whether it's a wife or committed in a relationship. I'm not saying marriage is the only answer, because I realize that people have changed. I'm talking about dynamic of commitment. Like I said in the beginning, people aren't committing to anything anymore. Why? Because they can swipe left or right and find the next best thing and then trash that and go to the next and next and next. And when you talk about the repercussions of what we're doing with women's bodies in regards to birth control and how that's harming them and their chances of when they do want to have children, it being greatly adversely affected, and don't even get into all the cysts and tumors and cancers and polyps and things that are occurring because of the imbalance of hormones, because of the hormone-induced food that we're pumped, that the food that we're ingesting, the dairy, the meat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we're just creating workhorses who are dependent on the government for their medication, for things that they need to calm their quote illnesses. They're going to work 9 to 5. Remember, a woman, or 9 to 9, really. A woman's hormones are not designed to be all over the place in regards to working those crazy hours like men do.
Nothing you're saying, even biologically. Women's hormones are probably designed to fluctuate way more than men's hormones. You have a whole cycle of fluctuation for hormones that men never even have to deal with at any point in their life.
Correct. I said that incorrectly. I'm saying they do circulate, but they're not supposed to be in a job where they're working those crazy hours like that and having to put all that energy and competing with other men. Their hormones are not designed for that. Where men's, they have testosterone. They're like, go. They get up in the morning. They're supposed to be driven. Single point of focus. Work. They come home. They want to relax. Have their woman take care of, et cetera. Get their sexual needs.
Newsflash. Nobody enjoys that. Men don't like that either. Men don't enjoy wake up, work, come home until you die. Like,
get sexual stuff. Are you kidding? Like, what men are you talking to?
Literally every man ever. Men that don't work YouTube jobs. People don't enjoy going to like menial labor or shit, or even white collar work and work, and then come home like, oh, I feel like such a man today. I'm so happy that I fucking work. Why do we celebrate Fridays instead of Mondays? I mean, like,
I'm not saying that men enjoy. I'm not saying that any man enjoys that. That's why they're more entrepreneurial space. But I'm saying, in regards to men working and coming home and wanting to be able to relax and be able to sink into a place where they feel safe. They don't have to have their armor up. They're not out fighting battles. They can come in and then just be, consoled and connect with their women and have sex and all those things. That's what men want. In regards to what job that is, now that's a different story. Like, there's more entrepreneurs today than any other time in the future. But when you're talking about like the damage that we're doing to women, if you had a daughter, would you want her to be on virtual?
Yeah, yes, this is what women teach their daughter. How many women tell their daughters, hey, listen, I got knocked up at 18. You don't want to do this. Wear condoms, get the implant, go on birth control. Yeah, of course. Who do you think is teaching daughters to take birth control? It's not their fathers. It's coming from the mothers.